Hey guys, I posted this morning and told the community on Facebook that I was going to sit down and film a little recap video, so to speak, of our event yesterday to go to the Christmas tree run. And so I wanted to do that this morning. For those of you that get this link, or if you're watching it because I put it in public, I'm not sure where I'm going to go with it just yet, but this is a new thing for me. I've not done these before, and so also, like I said in the post, like, I'm going to name some of your guys' names that came to the event yesterday, because after coming to an event we should be all on first name basis, and so I don't feel like that there should be any apprehension about that, unless there's a factor of where we don't want this to be in full public view, which that's where we have our community that we're going to kind of talk about a little bit here. So first thing I wanted to say is thank you guys so much for coming out and participating and keeping level heads last night, and keeping everybody safe, and keeping the kids happy, and everybody on the right path and directions, and everybody had their role yesterday, that was for sure. And I think that there was some apprehension during the day about how it was going to turn out and what was kind of going down, especially when we got to a situation where we were trying to turn rigs around and we were starting to get stuck in the ditch, and it was getting dark and it was snowing, and what was under our feet was starting to freeze and get real slippery. Like, everybody kind of knew at that point. And I don't think that it was until we got down to the bottom and started kind of getting out where everybody started kind of looking around and realizing that, you know, that was kind of what everybody was looking for, and it ended up being what we wanted, and with really good people, and everybody was safe, and it turned out great, and there wasn't really much to be apprehensive about in the end of it. So I appreciate you guys being involved and everybody having their roles and doing what everybody did. It was real fun and real good for me. And I appreciate, like, the community aspect of it. I've known all of you guys for a while, but I lose track of who hasn't met other people, and that's one of the biggest things that I enjoy about doing what I do, is I get to watch other people connect through this platform that we build together, and that we're trying to build together from here on out, that can connect you guys and let you guys have your own friendships and your own connections, and, you know, that sort of a thing. So so we started in Sweet Home yesterday. That was cool when I got up to the meetup location. Thanks again for everybody that RSVP'd. It really helps us track and keeps our volunteer, you know, our brains out of having to track everybody. I just open the list and check you in and you're there, and it's cool. So thank you guys for that. There was 2 people that didn't make it to the driver meeting and the event, you know, spot, our meetup location, that were on the list still in the morning for RSVP. And so our meetup time was 10 o'clock, and then by 10:35 is when I started the driver meeting, and I still hadn't heard from or seen the last 2 people that were on the list. So I went ahead and decided that we go ahead and start the driver meeting, hoping that by that time that they would either roll in or I would hear from them, and I didn't the rest of the day, and I still haven't heard from them. So I think that from a coordinator standpoint, that we did okay there. I didn't really want to push you guys any further out than 45 minutes. If we have a meetup time at 10 a.m., some of you guys are going to be there half hour, even 45 minutes early, which means if we're half hour, 45 minutes late, you've been chilling in a parking lot for an hour and a half, which nobody really likes. So I try to accommodate both sides of the spectrum there, and I think we did a really good job as a group, and so cool. From there we took off and we went down 20 out east, turned at what used to be a coffee shop there, but now there's like an apartment complex. So we turned to the apartment complex, take our pictures at the dam, head across the dam to do our stops, whatever. Everything's all happy merry. I think we got six people in the group, so that's cool. You know, it's funny that we've gone the same route kind of the last 3 years, but every time we go up there, the conditions are different, and so much different that the road systems look different, and between the snow and the clear cutting that goes on and the burnout areas, it looks tremendously different from one year to the next, and we're always kind of playing it by ear, how far we can get and what the group looks like and that sort of a thing. So this year we kind of hit snow higher than we did the first year, but lower than we did last year, because last year was really slushy and whatnot. So we all get to a point finally where we midday, we're cruising up, we hit snow, and we kind of make our first stop, and that's when Matt's fucking ZJ got lost spark. So we were all kind of chilling there, and at that point in time you could tell, even including Matt, that like he was frustrated and not happy that his rig lost spark and he was dead in the trail, obviously. But like as a group, we were all kind of like, somebody's gonna have something happen, you know, so we'll just take care of it and fix it and figure out what to do. And from my standpoint, until, you know, we're all helping each other, and until the owner of the vehicle, the controller of the situation reaches out to us, who were standing there with them, and is like, all right, I'm dead, I got no more options, we're gonna have to tow you out. We're still middle of the day, and it's all good, we're hanging out doing our thing, right? He got the Jeep fired up. Yes! All right, cool, and found out what the problem was. So if we have the problem again today, we know right where to go. And it eventually happened again, and he went right back there and cleaned it up, and then it wasn't a problem the rest of the day. And I have the utmost confidence in Matt that you're gonna go home and you're gonna do what you said you were gonna do and pop a distributor in that thing, and it's gonna be fine, you know what I mean? So no bubbles, no troubles on that one. So we spend a couple hours just doing snowball fights and hanging out with the kids, and some people chilled in their rigs because it was cold and, you know, variable conditions, and it was great. Everybody's having a good time. There was 2 dogs out there. We had Strom and Tater with us, and those 2 really hadn't hung out before, and they're both kind of new to their, you know, newish to their owners, and they were able to have a really good time. Both the dogs were happy all day long. There wasn't no snarling or nothing like that. The owners were respectful with the leashes, and so that was all good. So, you know, I like Strom and I like Tater. I hope you guys keep bringing them out. They're cool pups. So then we get to a point where we're gonna load up, and we're looking at the maps, and this is the point in time where, like, I'm gonna own up to some things. My map system that I've been using for the last 4 years, 5 years, it started to fail me the last couple of times, and I'm savvy enough with the woods and the area that it hasn't really hindered me, because I can kind of look around and kind of know where I'm going and what direction I need to do to get out and go places. But the last few times it's kind of let me down, to where the GPS unit's working and breadcrumbs are working, but it's not showing me roads and routes and the things that I need to see in order to get us navigated from one spot to another. And like I said, it's not really been a huge hindrance, but this time, about a third of the way into it, I was like, you know, I'm kind of flying blind here, and I know where I'm going and I know where I've been, and we're all the way up on top. And so we compared maps at that point, and Larry brought his map out, and Cody brought his map out, and Steve had one too. And Steve had been tracking last year on his, so he had our route from last year pinned on his map. And so we all kind of compared and was like, all right, cool, we're gonna go up over here, and we can see the topo that we're cruising along now about 4,000 feet, and we're about a foot of snow. Nobody's really having troubles. We're just cruising along. I'm at 12 pounds in the Grand Cherokee, and everybody else is pretty close to that. I think Cody was at 7. We're just cruising around and having a good time. And then we start heading up to kind of what we thought was heading down. We should have been cruising across the flat and then head down the other side. Cody and I are kind of like looking at each other at this point. He's playing tail gunner for me on the radio, and we're kind of comparing, and like, we should have been dropping down, and it seems like we're kind of getting into more snow a little bit at this point. It's not like piling up, but it's getting to be more snow. And then Joel gets stuck in the Suburban, which I think he had the skinniest tires in comparison to his weight, so he probably had the smallest footprint on the snow out of everybody, with the most weight, which we knew going into it, that's fine, but it's still 4-wheel drive Suburban on mud terrains with a 6-liter in it. Like, it's plenty capable. So we went to get Joel out, and at this point I got Matt behind me. He's got recovery points, no winch. I've got recovery points, no winch. Joel is stuck in the snow, and so I kind of start to drive around him. I flip my rig around, and I kind of ditch ride on the outside where there's the downhill side, and I start kind of ditch riding, and we're still having a blast at this point. We're still having a good time. Everything's cool, but we're knowing we need to turn around because we missed a road, and that's because my mapping wasn't showing the roads and the routes from last year, and I was going off of, at this point, the tracks that were in front of me, figuring that the tracks that were in front of me were coming up from the bottom, which would lead us back out the other side. Well, that wasn't correct. We passed a turn and I looked at the road and was like, I think that's the road we need to go down, and there was no broken tracks on it, and I was like, if there's no broken tracks on it, I don't think that's the one we need to go down. So we passed it and kept going. Well, it was the one we needed to go down. There's a little connecting route from one to the other that takes you down to Blowout Road that we took last year and the year before that we missed this year. And so it ended up taking us up to a place called Pinnacle Peak. And Pinnacle Peak on the maps was 4,600, almost 4,700 feet. So we were gaining elevation and gaining snowpack. And so we decided as a group we needed to turn around. Well, right when we were going to turn around, right when we got stuck, right when all this was going down, it was starting to get dark and it was starting to snow. And the tracks that we were standing on was nice powder, but under about 2 inches of powder, it was ice. And then after we had been there for about 45 minutes, the tracks that we were on started to slick over as it was snowing. And so the conditions were rapidly changing right in front of us. And I was identifying this as we were kind of going. And so that's when I started to pull around the side of the Suburban to get turned around from behind the Suburban. And Cody was coming up the other way, and we were still all having a good time and playing and everything else. But I went to back up to move out of Cody's way, and when I went to back up, my rig started sliding off to the ditch. And so there was no backing up for me. And I was fearful that Cody, when he went to back up, because now he can't come forward towards me, I can't go back. And my fear was that he was going to start creeping off the side when he went to back up. And so I flagged him and was like, Cody, get back up down to the bottom because I got to go that way. And so he had sent it down. I got down to the bottom. And so now I got like 4 rigs between me and the stuck Suburban. And Matt's the only one up at the top. And he's been having trouble with this rig all day. So I'm like, well, this is where I'm like, I don't need to get any more screwed up on anything. And so I got out and put my boots back on, put my coat on, my hat, got my gloves, then I got the air down tools, and I took it from 12 and I took her rig down to 7 so it could actually walk around on the snow a little bit better now that we were in deeper stuff. Got it turned around and aired down and was ready to go, and was like, okay, I don't want to, you know, step into the ditch and get my foot soaked and then have another hard time, or make it so my hand's so cold I can't use it right when we really need to start recovering people if this goes bad, because it could very easily escalate the wrong way in the blink of an eye. And I've been on enough snow wheeling trips and enough Christmas tree runs to know that like you're kind of riding this thin line to where like everything goes great, it's fine, and everybody's no bubbles, no troubles, but 1, 2, 3 bad things happen in a row and you could be out there until the cows come home. And with the kids and the group that we had and just being on a Christmas tree run, like that's not what I was going for. We kind of got what we were asking for, and now we need to get to the bottom. And so I got turned around, got up next to the Suburban, got turned around and was going to pull the Suburban out, and then I got out the rig and Matt was like, we got it out, it's all good. I just aired him down and he was able to drive out. I was like, okay. So that's when in fact, I think I even said to Matt and Joel, I was like, okay, give me a second to take a breath and get my bearings here and figure out what's going on, because I had just run around and was worried about 5 things all at once. So then we're unstuck. We need to turn the group around and get the group around to the bottom. We figured out where we need to go, and Cody decides, okay, well, I'm at the back and I'm about as capable as the most capable here, so he's going to go break trail to get us out. And we know that there's only a little bit of snow on that road at the bottom, and we had already come up in elevation, so he took off and went to break trail. The first one to turn around was going to be Larry, and he is on kind of street tires, and Larry's a pretty seasoned wheeler, and I appreciate the hell out of Larry coming out and like bringing the family like SUV out and the wife and kids. Like, it's so good to see you guys. Like, man, we've been wheeling since we were kids together. I met you guys when you were like teenagers and shit, and like now we're still friends, and you guys can still come out and meet people like Steve and Joel and Matt and fucking and Cody, and like it's cool as shit. So thanks for coming out with that thing, and you know how to use it, like, and you weren't being dumb with it. But inevitably it was like, oh shit, Larry's gonna get stuck. And he almost got stuck, and he did get stuck. Oh no. And so now Steve's got to turn around, and Steve's the most capable in the group at this point. He's Rubicon and JL. He's, you know, locked and new tires that we can still have an aired down. He's still at 12, I think, you know, and he's got the winch. And so Steve gets turned around, gets Larry out. Larry and Steve drive up the top. Sweet. Now we got to get the Suburban turned around. Okay, so we go to turn the Suburban around, and that's where Suburban gets stuck. So we're like, okay, cool, we'll get that one turned around. I pulled down with mine because I was at the top, so there's a little video on the forum. You guys probably already seen it. Go to the forum, and it's posted. There's a link there. Get Joel pulled out, we're turned around, Matt turns around, no problem, cool, heading on out, send it on home. So during that kind of situation, I know that I should have been just a little bit more vocal on what I wanted to see as the group leader. In the aspect of, there was a couple of guys that were kind of wondering, well, should I do this and should we do this? And then I came out and I had a third approach to it. I know that I should have just been a little bit more vocal without being forceful, and kind of directed that scenario just a little bit more efficiently so that everybody kind of knew and was on the same page from the second one. I think that would have alleviated a lot of anxiety that was going on in that moment in that group, including myself. So there's that. I think that Cody is such an awesome dude for taking on such a responsibility of being tail gunner all day and then turning around and being responsible for himself and his wife and going down to Break Trail and make sure that we're on the correct route. Dude, appreciate you, brother. But I also realized that was the point in time where I should have had his, because I'm pretty sure he takes ham radio everywhere he goes. If he doesn't, I got 2 in the truck, and I should have gave him one of the ham radios and put us on 470, 470, whatever the fuck that channel is, and we would have been able to talk to each other from where I was down to where you were breaking trail. Because after he had taken off is when we started to have the problem with Larry, and had he still been there, he could have yanked Larry out much easier than Steve having to turn around and assist Larry, which was also part of the anxiety problem that we were having. So I don't like to let the group split up, but in that scenario, Cody and I both agreed mentally and literally that that was probably the right thing to do, because we were close enough and in good enough shape that that's where we were going. But I should have went the extra mile and had the communication out for him. Everything else from that point was cool. We start head down the mountain. I get back into the lead, and one of the things that I noticed that I was struggling throughout the day that I need your guys' help with was, like, Matt was behind me, for example, and Matt was having a hard time with his rig all day, and I was breaking trail at, you know, a third of the time, especially at the evening. I was breaking trail, so that takes a lot of focus and concentration, especially with the kids in the car. And I was failing on seeing the rig that was behind him and making sure that those guys were keeping tight up with the group. And so I think we all need to be a little bit more vocal and a little bit better about holding each other accountable for, like in that situation, I need to lean on Matt a little bit more and make it, you know, make a point and emphasis that, no, you're the link in the chain to the next guy behind you, and I need your help up front with that. And then that will help scenarios as they come up with, like when we start to get stuck and shit like that happens. And so I need to be better about that, and also us be more responsible and kind of police each other a little bit and be like, hey bro, you know, you should be, you know, or hey, let me know, or that kind of a thing. Builds FaceTime, builds camaraderie, and brings the anxiety level down. I think the radio thing that we had going on, I think it worked pretty well. I'll continue to try to keep the team radios available, but I do want to get everybody's CBs in their rigs because it's much easier. It stays with your rig. It's a lot easier to tune, and by the time I got to the end of the day, I was ready to stuff that handheld up somebody's rear end, because there was literally no place for me to stick it in my car, and it was floating around and flopping around, and half of the stuff I had to ask you guys to repeat it because I couldn't hear it. And all of that problem is alleviated by just being able to hang your CB up on the thing. I'm not shitting on ham, not shitting on GMRS or any of the other shit. I've just found with 20 years of wheeling with groups and leading groups, that if everybody's got a CB in their rig, that it just makes it so much easier for everybody, and we can chatter like we're sitting around at the couch, sitting around the campfire. We can just chit chat with each other on the thing. So I'm going to step up to the plate on the mapping part of it, and that was my sign to, you know, up my game and get my mapping situation figured out, especially if I'm going to be a group leader. I'm always going to have, you know, backup, and you guys brought the issue to my attention, and we were able to turn the group around and get out real safely and real easily, so that was real good. But I still need to step up to the plate and grow with you guys as I ask you guys to grow. and make sure that I'm, able to do the things that I'm asking you guys to do, which on my part is mapping. So I think I'll probably do the Onyx like most people do. I've got a tablet in the house that I can repair, get it ready, and then I'll put a dual GPS receiver unit behind it so that it can receive the GPS signal, send it to my Onyx on my tablet, and then I can run overlays and all that stuff that we were looking at yesterday and talking about. So that's my next step of evolution on that part. Arab duties, getting home, camaraderie, man, you guys rock. And this is quintessentially why I do what I do. I don't, some of the events I'm going to make profit off of. I got some ticketed events coming up, but the RSVP events and the Facebook events, like, I don't make no money off of that. That's just literally for us to have fun and go do some cool stuff. And when you guys enjoy each other's company, it makes me want to do it more. And so thank you guys for that. There's nothing to be said about any of that. I will speak to a little bit of before and after now and speak to the community a little bit. So I've been after you guys about, like, I'm trying to build this community, right? And here's the thing that I need your help the most with, okay? Is like, you guys want to come out with me, and you know that I put on a killer event and that I bring people together and do all this thing. Well, that's true, and I want to continue that. But as I continue that, it needs to be supported by more than just myself. And like Larry, for example, constantly and consistently we talk about, like, man, all those things that we did when we were younger with our broke back Cherokees that were on 31s and 33s, and all the reasons why we do the things that we do now, and we're still doing it, and like how it used to be, like, getting the band back together moments. And I agree with you, like, I love all those old times, and I'm trying to move some of our events and some of our community towards how that used to be. But the reality of it is that I need your participation and Matt's participation and Steve and Joel, and posting your pictures. And as an example, with Matt, I don't know how many of the people out there on the run understood and realized what Matt had gone through just to get his rig there. He literally built the entire thing: motor, transmission, transfer case, axle, suspension, steering, interior wiring, got the CB installed, got the roof rack put on, got extra gas cans. I mean, it was safe for his kid and his wife to be in when they got there. Was it the greatest Jeep? No. But what I'm saying is that it was fine, it was great, he did everything, and it was awesome. And also, I don't think many people on the run understood literally what he had gone through to get there. And so twofold, if you guys are actively involved in this community, as an example for Matt, when you're going through your build and you're putting your Jeep together, like, I would love nothing more than you to pop a picture and a post up on the website for him about what you're doing, like in our thread, so that the people are going can see, like, oh shit, Matt's over there still struggling with his rig, and like, this is what he's got going on, and have a little bit deeper of an understanding for community and connection over what each other's got going on when it comes to try to make an event and try to do community stuff and volunteerism. And then also, like, there was a lot of times where Matt reached out to me and was like, hey, who's going? I'm trying to get there, but and the more people he knew was going, the more interest he had in it. And I could feel that every time that I would talk to Matt. But the reality for me is that like I had a super busy week that week, and I feel bad for missing some of the guys' phone calls because I knew what he was going through. But that is quintessentially what I'm looking for out of the community, because I know that Larry and Matt live down the street, figuratively speaking, from each other. They're both Jeep guys, and they're both trying to make the event. I bet they would hook up, if nothing else, just to chit chat and be moral support for each other. And that puts it in full frontal for the other community members, giving them the feel that they have this platform in this community that's not just like, we're going to go follow John to this event, but like, there's this big group of people that like collectively and community wise do these different diverse things together, and that will support each other and learn, and all these cliche things that I keep preaching about. And so like, when it comes to I would love to see you guys filter and funnel more of that stuff that gets kind of filtered and funneled to me in the form of a question or in the ponder, and just literally jump on the forum or jump on the Facebook group and like throw it out there for everybody to try to answer for you, so that we can build that FOMO, we can build that like community feel, like all these aspects kind of a deal. And then the second part of it, the hard part that I have is with like member retention and member posting. So like I'm seeing people get home from the event and I'm connected with you guys all on a personal level, but we're connected through the community, that we all came through the Ride Revival community. And so like you get out what you put back. But what I'm finding is that I'm having a hard time getting people put back what they're getting out of it in the aspects of their pictures and videos and their testimonials and their trip reports. And those are the strongest drivers of community and culture that anyone can have. And so I'm not trying to beat a dead horse. I'm not trying to solicitate your personal posts and your kids and stuff like that. But those posts, those pictures, those videos and testimonials and trip reports are what drives the community, and the community is what drove those to you, your memories and your pictures and your videos and your group feel. So like I'm really asking for your help on that part of it, to like remember us and the community and my forum and my people when you want to share the good time that you had. Like I'm not saying don't share it with your personals and your friends. That's also what helps drives, and that's also why you want to come out. But if nobody in the community ever gets to see those back in the community, then they don't get to see anybody else's perspective but mine, and then it's continually driven by me, my face, and my posts on come out to this cool thing, look at all the pictures that I took of all these other people. Other people can post those pictures and videos and say, hey, I had this great time. And a couple of you have, and a couple of you haven't. And like I don't want to beat a dead horse, and I don't want to make you feel solicited over the deal. I'm just really trying to utilize those as a driver for the community. And so again, if you could help me out and remember that we have an open forum, we have an open Facebook group, it's all public. And I would love for you guys to post that back there and help me drive this community forward. These events are going to get larger and larger, and we're going to meet more people and be able to affect more things. And I promise you that you'll see the light at the end of the tunnel very, very soon. The last thing I want to say, well, maybe not the last thing, but to touch on, I just wanted to give Steve a huge shout out. He's been one of my strongest supporters at the shop, my personal life, and my community and everything that I've had going on. He's a constant, consistent supporter, and he comes out prepared every time with the best of attitudes and is constantly wanting to meet people and help people and teach and learn all at the same time. He's been through a lot and doesn't have to be that way. And so I just wanted to give Steve a shout out for continually supporting us, and not just me, but like being a true community member. Because like a lot of places that I go and a lot of events that I hold, like we're one of the first people that other people ask about, and that's important, and I wanted you to know that. So thank you for being you, Steve. Larry, it was awesome to have you out again. You know, same things I said before. Joel, it's been a pleasure getting to know you and your daughter and your dog and your family, and I'm really looking forward to, you know, our work together and our community works together, and just, you know, you seem like my kind of people, Joel, and so I just appreciate you coming out. Cody, what more do you say? Appreciate you. Sorry I'm in your ear all the time, but sorry not sorry, because we got shit to do. So I appreciate you coming out, and I know sometimes that you're sacrificing time, and you're really, you know, like I say to people, if I was a candle, I'd be burning at both ends. I know that that's the case for you too. So I appreciate you coming out and putting in everything that you are, and having the vision that you do, and the trust and faith in me that you do. So it's not unwarranted, and it's not unnoticed. Matt, man, you're a soldier, bro. Like, you march to the tune of your own drum, almost as strong, if not stronger, than me or anybody I've ever met, and that's what makes you one of the strongest community members that we have. And your continued support and the fact that you're there. And like everybody's human, right? Like, and nobody's perfect, and ain't nobody gonna have friends. Like, everybody's gonna rub somebody wrong, everybody's gonna have friends and that kind of thing. And like, I just appreciate you being you and continuing to like not let the world bother you. And like, your family's beautiful, and your kids are smart as tacks, and they're cute, and they're everything they're supposed to be. And like, you work hard for what you got, and you know, say what you will about you, dude. Like, I just appreciate your continued support and you being there, and like trying with everything you try with, you know. So just like, thanks, dude, appreciate you. Yeah, other than that, I guess that pretty much wraps it for me. Yeah, if you guys could help me out on the posting on the forum. I posted the link, and you guys should be able to go there. Everybody should be a member at this point that went on the thing. I'm really trying to work on user friendliness as far as that. So if you're trying to use it and there's something that doesn't look right to you, or doesn't make sense, or you're confused, you can reach out to me at any point, and I would love to help you with it. And I can actually make it more user friendly if I get some feedback. So if you guys try to use it for me and there's something that's hanging you up, provide me some feedback, or even some criticisms, constructive criticisms, and I'll do my best to like modify it. I truly want to make the website and the forum all user friendly and available to everybody, because it's going to be a really good, strong cultural place for us to be here going forward. Yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Thank you guys again for everything, and post some pictures of your trees. I want to see your trees when they're all decorated. And this was just the first snow run of the year, so keep getting your stuff ready to go. I'm going to do the same thing, and here January, February, I think we'll put some more snow runs together. But anyway, if you watched the whole thing, thank you, I appreciate it. I'm going to keep posting some pictures, and I might even do a blog for you guys and then add all of this stuff together. So we'll talk about, you know, how the forum works, and I'll do a description video and stuff like that coming up. But I just wanted to get this out, and you guys let me know if this was appropriate and applicable. I do some of this for clients sometimes. I do some of this for meetings and event coordination, and so I thought that it might apply to our community. So you guys let me know how that works, and what you thought of it, and reach out to me, post. We'll catch you guys later. Much love. Happy holidays. Y'all take care.